Yeah.
It's a vibe. We're back here.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's hot out here. Sweat dripping.
Ew.
Back sweat.
Why you started with back sweat, man? Yo, this guy.
Shirt sticking to
Disgusting.
your back. Fingers getting blown off for fireworks. You know,
Yeah.
all
I
the
mean, I don't
regular-
feel bad. I don't feel bad
regular
for anyone that
schmegular.
happens to at all. Because
I'm
don't
dead.
let me sleep.
Damn,
I
bro.
don't feel bad. Not, yeah, if your hands are stuck like that, maybe you should stop playing with fireworks and let people sleep. Let people sleep. Look at my face. Anyways.
Hassan on Sunday.
And me on Leo's rooftop. I just wanted to blow a tiny little one and then it hurt my finger. Fireworks bit my finger.
Anyway,
Oh,
Tmsi
man.
podcast back here, episode number 7. With your
Yeah,
illustrious
baby.
hosts,
Well,
the prettiest of Pats. We got, what's your
It's
name, bro?
boy, Mr. Not So Light Skin, Hassan. You know what I'm saying? We're back here with another episode. And then we have today's introduction is gonna be different, man. I need to hype my boy up. Patrick, cue the applause.
No,
man.
no,
Cue
no,
the
no,
applause.
no, no.
Not yet.
Nah.
Damn. But I really want to hype him up.
All right, go ahead.
All right, cue the applause, man. Today we have the illustrious
In this
the one and
corner,
only. Yes. We have highly acclaimed Forbes Elite, the videographer of videographers, the creative director of creative directors. You don't know anything about this guy. Virgil got
Hey.
nothing
Hey,
on
hey,
my boy.
hey, I'm not a videographer. I'm not a videographer. Cinematographer.
yeah,
Yo, I said
correction.
videographers of videographers. So that means you're way beyond that. You're like a cinematographer of the videographers. Anyways, Virgil got nothing on my boy. Forbes wrote about him. You saw him on that versus. Come on. Let's give it up for the one and only Stalin Luvichuska, man.
Yo.
Forbes Elite. Price went up 1 billion times. Yeah. Yeah. Now, on a more serious note.
Hey
super proud
guys,
of
hey
you, man.
guys. I just want to clarify to the press that I am in fact not a videographer.
Look what he's focusing on. I'm
You-
sorry,
you out here
guys.
spreading false information.
Yo, for real. Yeah. I don't
The
want like
Forbes Elite cinematographer.
I don't want 20 years from now to be like, hey, like this guy's lying about being a cinematographer. Look at this video.
Oh my
But they're
god.
calling a video. Now imagine.
I mean, how people doing shit now? Like, you're canceled.
Yeah, but Stalin is way too nice. If anyone is gonna get canceled here, it's me first. Because
Yeah, you're probably right.
it's me first. But I don't.
I'm dead.
Yeah, you can't cancel me. You can't.
No, but it's good to be back, guys. Thanks, Hassan, for such an endearing welcome. I'm just playing with you.
welcome. Endearing welcome.
You
But on a
know,
more serious
you know
note,
you're
I'm
my
proud
boy.
of you, man. Not for real, man. But yeah, super proud of you.
Oh, yeah.
Before we move on, Patrick, what
Thank
did they
you.
make you say this week?
I guess. I mean, for me, it was nothing bad this week. It's more so just.
Yeah, it could be
You
good,
know,
bro.
a
It
sense
could also
of-
be good.
I mean, but bad shit more funny sometimes.
Nah,
But not today. This week it was just more about community, having fun, like appreciating friends, family. So yeah, it was a
good
good
stuff.
week. Nothing, I don't know. I was happy with this
nothing
week.
out the blue. So you a
Nah.
happy ass guy? Just walking around skipping. Whee! It's a brand new day.
Nah.
Not that happy.
Yeah.
You should
We
try.
don't do
skipping
that.
Sometimes it's fun.
Yeah, I'm all right. What made you
Okay.
say this week?
Oh man, they made me say never work out with this guy right here ever again. See what I'm pointing? Him right
You
there.
point at Stalin.
No, I'm pointing at you. I'm pointing
At
at
me?
you. Yeah, you.
Okay.
Never. They made me say never work out with Patrick ever again. This dude is a robot. I swear to God. I worked out with him, and the whole entire day yesterday, I couldn't move. I couldn't eat. I was in just pain.
He's a Terminator, bro.
Nah, dude. If you have Patrick as your personal trainer, you'd only take a week to get in shape. I'm talking all your abs, losing all the fat, and like nutrition in check. Just 1 week, because you don't ever want to see this nigga ever again after that. Like You don't want to. You don't even want to hear his name, bro. That's how intense his workouts was. But no, on a more serious note, they made us say, "Yo, the city's reopening this week, and everybody's just out there. Other white people that were home, stuck and bored, and couldn't have dinners to go to, or all sitting on the sidewalk eating fettuccine right now as I speak in Lower Manhattan. So it's good to see that the city's reopening. It is sad to see that other parts of the country didn't take precautions too seriously, and now they're having huge spikes in that. But it's good to see New York City going back to not its previous state, but a somewhat of an enjoyable or a state where
Re-energized.
re-energized state while social distancing as well. So that's what they made me say this week, and also not working out with you ever again, ever
Yeah.
ever
All
again.
right.
What about you, Stalin? What they make you say?
What did they make me say? Man, yo, you guys ever like have like a huge productive week and then you don't remember shit? I mean, anything. My
Damn,
bad.
gets featured on Forbes once, man.
Hold up, I'm just gonna check my like my weekly schedule, see what I did.
He's like, I don't even know how to do it anymore, man. It's just too much.
Nah, I feel you on that though. It's
It's
like the
just
whole
too
everything
much.
just get mushed together and stuff.
Yeah, and I've honestly just been like trying to live in like the present moment. But this week I saw like good friends, like old friends. Like I actually saw Hassan after like so many months,
Yeah,
I got to hang out
in
with
flesh.
people. Yeah, I was like recording. He might be in like my next episode of
Yo,
Mementos.
don't
Stuff
expose
too.
me, G.
Yeah,
I say, don't expose me, G.
I got you, bro. If you call me a videographer again, I got
Nah,
you.
I'm. Whoa!
you gonna be
No!
in the episode crying.
You made me say Stalin expose me.
You see, you can come up with a video, the truth about Hassan Ayub.
Mad drama on YouTube. Hassan has like 2 subscribers.
Nah, man, but I was like reading, editing, just developing other stories and just like honestly trying to keep grounded and seeing like what the future is about, having
Mhm.
feeling. One of the business ventures I told you about came through. So now
Yes,
that's
congratulations
cool.
again, man. It's beautiful to see.
Thank you.
Here for
And
this.
like, yeah, I just want to really focus on like just what I really love and like just pursuing it. It's like I think I'm like really getting over the fear, like fear
We
of
just started
failure.
stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like that's one thing that always held me back. But now it's just like, okay, I trust myself and I trust myself enough to know that even if it doesn't work out, I can re-strategize and figure it out,
Do something else again. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And it's an experience in itself. So we're
Yeah.
proud of you. We're seeing you work. I was even telling Patrick, like, no, like, I've never seen Stalin like this, and it's beautiful to see you just energized and excited about the projects you're uptaking, the business ventures, and it's paying off. Again, price went up, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks,
not gonna
guys.
let this die down. I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
doing this.
You might
For
as well
like
just put
a whole
the Uzi Vert song on there.
month. Every time he walks in, every set, every friggin' video he's directing, he's just that's his entrance music.
Oh, my favorite Uzi one, 20 minutes.
Now you're gonna have the Hassan gonna be out there with the coming to America shit with the rose petals. Get the hell out the
carpet,
way.
rose
You know who
petals.
coming through.
Yeah, come on, man. You heard the name.
I'm like, I don't know him.
Yeah, but I know you, so but I know you.
smoke machine.
Yo, you know what? You know what I just thought of? You know when you're struggling to like kind of become a rapper, no one sees you. You're in the studio, everyone's like, it's trash, ass, booty, boo. But as soon as that check comes in, everybody just comes out of the woodworks. Like, yeah, remember what that one sandwich I gave you in high school?
Yeah.
You were my boy from the get-go, man. I swear to God, I supported your music. They were answering your calls for you. Niggas want to dress you up now.
Nah,
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot too because
Oh, that's me with you for sure. Don't think it's for real. Like,
No, it's
but,
like
Forbes article,
we looking at
yeah.
this screen. It's like all of a sudden Hassan appeared right next to Stalin.
Stalin's room.
He's like, hold on, I'm gonna go use the restroom.
Here's your coffee.
I
just
need a
like-
mic.
Yeah,
you need a mic.
You can have mine.
Yeah, you can have mine. See me lugging my entire freaking setup just over there. I miss. No, but it's a funny thing because it happens to everybody. Like on the road to success is really quiet unless the real ones support you, like the people like that look out for you are there. But as soon as you reach there, everybody just wants to come out the woodwork and it's like, well, I was there for you when you started this. I watched one video, I liked it. I'm like, you never said anything, even like when the success was adding up.
Right.
You
You
said,
don't
"No,
get.
now you attack." Nah, you just like hit them in the throat and have them like not be able to breathe again, and that's it. Patrick, did you hear that?
Nah, I think it froze up on my end.
Oh, my bad. I was
Yeah.
saying, how would you deal with that? Let's say you started a business venture, no one was there for you except me, of course.
This dude.
I'm already putting myself there.
He always at every.
Yeah, he knows with everything.
Except me.
He warns you. He warns you.
Yeah, I just know I'm there. Even if I didn't know about it, I'm there. Except me, of course.
All right,
But
so I
when the
start
money came
business.
in, what, and then everybody else is coming out the woodwork. Your friends from like middle school that you've never heard of in ages are like, yo, no, that's my boy. Blah blah. I hit you up on some F shit. Like, what would you do?
I mean, they could say what they want to say. Like, I'ma just keep acting like they don't exist.
Damn.
What?
Hi.
What you want me? I'm not about to entertain nobody that's not really like messing with me. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's all right, cool. Like,
thanks.
oh yeah, like we said, whatever you said, like, oh yeah, remember that one time I helped you out, you needed some gas money. I'm like, well, I gave you a ride, bro. Like, you owe me that.
You sat in my car and I drove you places. So it's just like an Uber, and I'll Uber yourself out of my vicinity.
Yeah. Or you know what? I'll be like, I'm gonna set you up with something. Oh, like for real, like yeah. You send a box to their crib, a couple bottles of water, some drawers and stuff.
What the hell? What would I do with that? Don't send me anything. And at that point,
this your thank you basket.
Thank you basket. It's not even new water. It's like used water bottles. This nigga refilled it.
Fresh from the tap.
Recycled. High quality.
Yeah.
No, Stalin, how would you deal with that though?
Honestly, like I don't blame people that don't support. Like I feel like that's always part of the journey. Like even your closest friends and family are not gonna support you, but if you put yourself in their shoes, I understand it. It's because like I feel like they're living in fear and they don't believe in like something that hasn't been done or someone closer to their network doing it. So if someone's never seen it, it's gonna be hard for them to believe that someone can. And I think it's like just projecting. I mean, because like they don't believe they can do it, so they don't believe that anyone else can. Yeah. But it's when they start seeing the success that like they're like, oh, like yo, what's up? And it's like only natural that they're gonna do that. But in my case, I'd be like, thank you for the support, but yeah, like that's all you're getting. But I'll never forget like the people that really helped me. Like even before I started taking. I mean, yeah, like I'll never forget you, Hassan. Like,
see.
But I'm saying, like, I'll never forget that the real people that like were there even before I took film seriously, because like like there were my friends that were like, even when I had like no sort of idea of what I was doing, they're like, okay, like yeah, I'll help you out. Like yeah, I'll help you shoot something even if it's trash, And they never asked for anything in return. I feel like that's what you always have to keep in mind, because you can never forget the people that helped you, and try to help them. And
true.
I don't think I'd ever give handouts. Like if someone comes to me and it's like, yo, can I get some advice? I'd be like, sure. Or it's like, hey, what do you think I should do? I tell them this, or maybe giving them an opportunity on the set if they have like good intentions. But like, the saying goes, it's like you give a man a fish, he eats for a day, but you teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And I truly believe in that. But I honestly believe in like people's intentions and just seeing their character. And if I know their character is good and like, they've always been interested but are afraid to take that leap of faith, then I'll help out. But if it's like, if you're just looking for like clout or like, then I'll be like, no, I'm not in it for the clout. Like I'm in it for the art, like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, and you know what?
Yeah.
A good point too. I feel like a lot of people, they will try to steer people towards different things because, to your point, Stalin, either they haven't seen it done or they want you to stay in a certain bubble. So
Yeah.
people will like, and some people don't do it intentionally, but they will try to like, it's basically like someone grabbing your ankles and you're like trying to climb up a mountaintop, but you have them like all that weight on you. So even Hassan, you talked about how like, sometimes your people like, oh, you need to do, what you say, doctor, lawyer,
Doctor. To
or
this day, I was even arguing with my roommate yesterday. He was like,
yeah.
"Well,
To
you
this
just have your
day,
degree." To this day, he was like, "What are you doing with it?" I'm like, "Yo, mind your business. I'm not that motivated by money, and it's something like my people are like Ghanaians. We just love money. Not to paint a broad picture. I'm sure there's some outliers
No.
somewhere.
I mean, honestly, that's how I feel like we've become so wrapped into this, and it's all a lie, in my estimate. Because it's like, okay, you go to school, you get a degree, and you're guaranteed a good job, and da da da. And it's like sometimes, like I've met people that don't even use their degree. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, but as long as you're doing something, I feel like money will come as long as you're putting some sort of
Yeah,
effort
no.
into it.
If you love it, you'd want to do it. Like I
Yeah.
told you, if you love it, you stay up all night working on something you're totally passionate about. And it's again the way I see it is that like Stalin said, he's gone, but
He
teach a
should be
man how
right
to
back.
teach a man how to fish and like give a man a fish and he'll be able to eat for a day, but teach him how to fish and he'll
Yeah.
eat for a year, for an entire year. The thing is that with my people, again, not to like crap on like sending money back home or anything like that, but my view on that is different. Sometimes like you're being pressured to just send money, and I'm like, but why? Because I feel like once you start, they
Mm-hmm.
would expect it every single time, and I don't want that dependency. Which is why I think I told you this. I hate when people try to force me to give, because to me that's not the real giving. If I give, nobody would ever know about it, and I'll tell the person I gave to that like cut. Don't tell nobody, because
Yeah.
I want you to be able to not just get up every day and think, oh well, my cousin Hassan is in the United States, so oh if anything, I'll just hit him and he'll send it to me.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I
Nah.
have the money, if I'm making that much, it's my intention to help. But giving handouts doesn't fix anything. But I get the situations we're in. But like back to like like what you said with people just putting their insecurities or projecting that. It's really, you could tell when people are like, "Oh, you're just wasting your time. You could be making so much money." Blah blah. You could just tell that they're scared to just follow something they're truly passionate about, or they're just scared to take risks.
Or they
Playing it safe.
feel, some people feel like, okay, they might not be happy with their place in life. So maybe they didn't go to school. Maybe they didn't do this or that or whatever. But it's just like, yo, like you don't really have to. I feel like
Yeah,
the educational system is broken and
big time.
school should definitely be free. There shouldn't be this like, okay, you have to have this degree to do this and do that. Because even you and I were talking about this, what, yesterday? How, all right, I might be interested in this, but in order to get the certification, I got to drop $30,000
Yeah,
for
nursing
like a,
school, 90K.
a couple
God,
month
what? Goddamn,
certification,
like,
or for a 2-year degree, almost $100,000. Like, do you really want to take on that debt? And say, not really.
yeah. Especially when I'm not super passionate. If it's just gonna be another job, like,
Yeah.
and on top of that, this is how I see school. You're paying to not enslave yourself, but push yourself too. Like you're gonna stay up all night studying. You're gonna like
No,
cramp
I
all the
never
time.
did that. I never did that.
Really? You
Nah,
the for I mean it
nah.
depends on
I
your
would,
course load. Like with the
what I
bio
would
stuff
do,
I took,
uh-huh.
I had to sleep in the school sometimes. That's how bad sleep in the library
Nah.
sometimes for an exam.
All I would do, I would constantly study.
Mm,
So I would keep it fresh in my head. I never like to just sit down and
cramp.
study all at once. So
Mm,
as soon as we were done with whatever one section of the class and then move on, I'm studying already. So I would be in class, like putting stuff in the Quizlet, making flashcards. So I would,
mm,
be at the gym if I'm on the treadmill, I'm looking through there,
Reading,
listening to stuff.
listening to lectures.
And if how I always took it, like whatever the grade is, what I get, like I did my best, and then
put in the work.
yeah, at the end, like I graduated, like what on the dean's list, so I did pretty
Yes,
solid.
flex that.
So
Yeah.
it's like, hey,
Nah,
is
I
what it
feel you.
is.
But again, you were passionate about what you were studying, you know.
but guess what?
What's up?
I think this ties into today's topic.
Let's go.
A proactive lifestyle. So I'm very
Mm,
proactive, and I was there on the
trip. Let me tell y'all, I've been proactive before the word proactive was even.
Like, boy, you only 20 something. Shut the hell up.
I swear to God, I'm too proactive. I'm already in 2025. Let me tell you, the virus is still there.
It's part of your stand-up act.
Oh no, the stand-up act is coming.
Hassan is the type to do a joke and laugh at it, but people laugh at the laugh rather than the joke.
No, yeah, that's all ties into it. Actually, I study comedians, and sometimes the mannerisms is what's funny.
Oh yeah, that's why I think a lot of people laugh at Kevin Hart. My person.
Oh yeah, no, Kevin. Even in his movies, sometimes I'm watching the movie like.
I have an unpopular opinion.
What?
I don't find Kevin Hart funny.
That's not unpopular at all. That's the whole America.
We all three in agreement.
I feel like everyone finds him funny, and I'm just like,
like sometimes I'll watch a show and like he'll tell a joke, but the way he's super like honed in on the mannerisms, and that's how he projects his like makes his jokes funny. But his movies and stuff like that, I'm sorry, Jumanji, I'm like. Or like, he's black, and I like that. He's like building generational wealth. Like when he talks outside of acting or comedy, he's smart.
What's funny though, the
intelligent.
Damn, what was that show? The Real Husbands of Hollywood.
Oh, of Hollywood.
The little fake
that was
comedy
funny.
show.
Oh
That's a funny
God,
show.
That was funny.
That
High
show
school,
was funny.
Oh my! I used to watch that all the time. I'm bad. I'm glad. At the same time, still so sad. I miss my dad.
Man,
that was his peak. That was at his peak when it was super funny.
Yeah.
Now the funniest thing for me was from the 40-year-old virgin.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I don't know what you just said to me. I didn't understand. I'm gonna take that as disrespect. That was like the funniest thing I ever heard him say.
Yo, that movie is funny.
Oh man,
that movie's funny. So. All right, y'all. So today's topic, let's get into the discussion. Howard, are you ready, buddy?
Oh, yes, sir. Of course, patty cakes. I'm ready. I'm so sorry.
Hey, bro, you
Yo, I told you, my roommate's girlfriend has been calling you patty cakes, bro. No, but I am ready. Indeed, indubitably, I'm ready.
All right, Starlet, we gotta come up with a country club name for you as well.
Mine is Howard. What's yours, Patrick?
Pete.
Oh yeah, Pete. We came up with Pete. So Pete, Howard,
and
Stewie.
Nah. Damn.
Samuel.
Samuel.
Samuel, will you be going to the Trump 4th of July party at Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore. I gotta get the wife and kids out of the state then, just so I can bring the mistress around. Oh yes, investments, money, stock market, economy.
All right,
just throw money words up there. Stalin is like, no.
Actually, we're going to talk about stocks, and I think you should invest in the index S&P 500 index. Have a great ROI.
Give me a second. Give me a second. But why didn't you say that earlier? What's my phone?
Just do it. All right.
I'm deleting and selling everything and buying that.
Let's do it. So with the proactive lifestyle, there's the other side of that coin. Why do y'all think you should not be living a reactive lifestyle And what type of impacts has that had on your life if you have been reactive, which I'm sure
Wait,
you have?
Yeah.
before we start,
Go
Patrick,
ahead.
could you define what a reactive lifestyle or like an example of what a
Yeah,
reactive
yeah, for sure. I
thing would be?
believe this is
Have to
my
fly.
my definition, my idea of it. So instead of okay, we just spoke about studying in school. So to me, being proactive was starting to break down my study and start the studying ahead of time. And
Mm.
reactive would be okay. The test is on the I don't know. Let's just say, for the hell of it, the test is on the 5th. Today is the 3rd, and then I literally
Oh
just
hell
start
no.
studying tomorrow. So I think that would be reactive, and proactive is okay. I'm doing these things leading up to whatever it is, even if you don't know what it is exactly. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
styling, you're working on stuff. We're all like kind of working on things. So we aren't. I don't think any of us are like where we ideally exactly want to be, but we're being proactive. So when that opportunity comes, or just whenever we just develop into what we're trying to do, we'll already be, somewhat set. Would you
Yeah.
all agree?
Yeah,
100%.
I
I
agree with that.
absolutely agree.
And
Yeah.
that clarifies it better. But it's also for the viewers because they might be like,
Yeah.
well, what do you mean by reactive? You know?
Well,
Yeah.
a chemical reaction is when you have A plus B and then it leads to C and this and another. I'm so sorry.
Uh-oh.
Bless me out.
Hey, sanitize,
Ah,
sanitize.
the whole thing goes off.
Yeah.
Hold on.
CDC
I need to grab
bust
my
through the door.
sanitizer. Put your hands up. Yo, sanitizer. My sanitizer is a bit too all the way over there. I'm not gonna grab it.
I think
I
you're right,
just,
man.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Yes, I agree that, with being proactive. I think versus being reactive. In my experience, every single time I was being reactive, it never ended well.
Hmm.
But I also live by that rule. I'm really proactive when it comes to things that matter to me and my that align with like my value system. So one thing I don't necessarily believe in is violence.
Right.
So again, I always give this thing because we live in New York. New Yorkers are mostly very reactive, especially when it comes to the boundaries and like
Oh yeah.
your space. Um, let's say you easy example, accidentally scuff someone's brand new Jordans. A reactive person will probably get angry and like yell obscenities towards you, even try to fight you because of their
Uh-huh.
reaction to the action you just took on their shoes. Um, you you could be proactive in that sense by just watching where you're going and avoiding stepping on people's toes. That's you thinking about this situation beforehand, saying, "I'm leaving my house today. I'm not trying to get in confrontations with anybody and preserving my energy for what matters. So I'm gonna look where I'm stepping."
Well,
That's you
I mean,
taking,
look.
action.
I would say another way to be proactive in that is the other person involved in that. So even for me, when I first moved here, I remember I had these, I can't remember what they were. I think it was just a pair of forces. And I'm like, oh,
Mm.
like clean, da da da. Get on the
The
train.
brush, spick and span.
Literally, I think maybe 8 people stepped on my shits. And it wasn't even on purpose. It
Oh,
was just
oh
like,
no,
you don't be
nah! They
just
came out there like,
nah, nah, nah,
you about to
nah.
freaking shoot.
But when the train be like packed, like
Oh
packed.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
whoever, I don't know how they drive the trains, but some of the train conductors, they don't ease into the stop. They be like, they hit the brakes like 50 times. So everybody, yeah, there you
Dude,
go.
you ever flew on the train?
Yeah, you be like,
You ever flew on the train?
so I'm like,
just,
yo, wait,
just
what
like
the?
slap someone out of.
So what I did, I put in my mind, all right, your shoes are probably gonna be stepped on at least 5 times today. So I think that's a proactive way to think about it, and buy some
Yeah,
good shoe cleaner because you live in New York. Now,
yeah,
if
crep
we back
protection.
in Cleveland and someone step on your shit, then they really just not paying attention because there's a lot of
Yeah,
space there, and you in your car too.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Imagine open the door and just steps on it. But, but again, but with being reactive, I think reactive like staying in that state of mind just um needs you to requires you to just wait for things to happen before you react to them.
Hmm.
I think being proactive, you're like you want to do things. You wake up in the morning knowing exactly what I have to do today. I don't have to
Right.
go with the flow and see if something happens that I have to react to it. And sometimes when you're procrastinating, this is also a characteristic of it. Sometimes you don't want to do like, sometimes I don't want to like type out these things I'm working on. So instead, I'll look around the room and see, oh, oops, my carpet is dirty. Let me react to that. I'll vacuum instead of doing actually what I have to do, So it expresses itself in tiny little instances in our lives, but you have to know what holds precedence over those instances and what you value the most. I think if you value something as high as possible or like at the highest level, you
Hmm.
would always be proactive in working towards that. What do you think, Stefan?
Yeah, I think you can be reactive in like many forms of your life, and I feel like I've for a long time, and I'm still working on it, affected me and it made me miserable, honestly. Because I feel like reactive,
Measurable.
yeah, and like you don't really realize it because I feel like I think like it's funny because like this screenplay book that I'm reading, it's like about writing characters and stuff, but it really deals with like it really makes me think about how applicable it is in real life, and it's like in order to have a movie move forward, there always has to be action. So in a movie, like you have to see things happen. Like it's a visual
Right.
medium, it's not dialogue. So a great character is always one that takes action. Now, like let's just think of it as in a movie form, but also in real life.
Okay.
So a great character is someone that always takes action and moves the story forward.
I will
Now,
find you and I'll
yeah, now
kill
like a reactive character or reactive person is someone that lets things happen to them, and
you.
that's uninteresting. Like when you're always having things happen to the character and to yourself, it's uninteresting, and it's not
Yeah.
something you want to see. And it's like that in real life, because eventually, like if you only have things happen to you and you're not active and proactive, you feel like you're not in control. And I
Yeah.
feel like that was a big part of me, because I was always very reactive to what other people said to me or did to me,
Mm.
and I was only hurting myself. Like I was really reacting and like having all this anger in me, but the only person I was hurting was myself. And eventually, like I wasn't being as proactive and always saying like, man, like I can't. It starts to like really get into your head, and you're like, oh, like I can't do it. Like other people are doing it, but I can't. Like you don't want that initiative,
Hmm.
and it kind of influenced me into believing that like life is like a philosophy of determinism, meaning like everything is already like
Preordained.
yeah, preordained and pre-written for you. So now it's like
Mm.
there's no such thing as free will and very nihilistic. But I realized like it was just because I was living a very reactive lifestyle. I wasn't taking it into my own account and taking action to want to do. I wasn't controlling my emotions. I was letting other people control my emotions. I wasn't controlling like the actions I'm taking to do film. I was only focusing and reactive that other people were doing it and not myself, which angered me. Until like I started changing my paradigms and be like, yo, why am I reacting like this way rather than being taking action? And the moment that I started to realize that and not be reactive and take action is when I started feeling one, more happy, more in control, and like my paradigms on life and people just like are like changing, and they are going
Yeah.
to constantly evolve, but it's like a more positive thing. And I truly believe that like I can accomplish something, and even if
Hmm.
I can't, I can re-strategize and do it a different form, because
Because
when you fail, it's like you didn't fail completely, just that form failed. But you can find other ways to do it,
yeah,
you know?
True.
and it also just makes you value your opinion a lot more. Because when you fail, you're the only one you're like trying to prove something to. It's not that you're trying to prove something to everyone. An example of that will be Uncut Gems. I think the reason why that movie, Patrick, have you seen it? Uncut Gems.
Nah, I haven't.
You should
Actually.
watch it. It's
Okay.
a very uh what do you call it? It's a very peculiar movie. I've never seen a movie like that because the main character in there did not was very reactive. He wasn't proactive in a lot of the things he wanted. So the
Hmm.
whole movie just had this undertone of just anxiety and like things just happening to him and him not just paying attention to it at
But you know
all.
what? I feel a lot of people don't adjust. I haven't watched the movie, but from just seeing like people speak about it, it seems like the main character had some level of success in whatever it was he was doing.
It's debatable.
Okay,
It
cool.
gives
But
a layer of
yeah,
success,
but
neutrality.
I
Yeah,
feel like if you have been enabled and if you have some level of success in what you're doing, then you're not as quick to adjust to something.
yeah.
Like you might not make those adjustments. So that's I feel like that's why a lot of people stay reactive, and we stay reactive because we're like in this reactive state where we
Everything
react to
happens.
everything. Like I was just talking to a friend on Wednesday, um, and well, Kofi, Kofi,
Shout out to
and
Kofi, man. If you're watching
exactly
this, shout out to you, G.
good brother over there.
Good
But
brother.
brother Kofi.
The freaking Kofi comes on. The Kente Kofi.
Nah,
Brother
but
Kofi.
what's it called? I was just saying how like right now in this current state where everyone is kind of reacting to something, but it's just like not everything is important, but we feel the need to just pop up and say something about everything when it's not important.
Yeah.
And even
So
to
you was
Stalin's
important.
point, yeah, like I think what I've done for myself in my life, and it's still, a work in progress, is that I'm not, if someone says something to me, no matter who they are, like I'm not bothered by it. Like, it's just
Yeah.
kind of like I'm kind of like a filter, like it just goes like straight
Yeah,
through.
I'm the same way. Sometimes
Yeah,
I thought I'm like, yo, sometimes you have to react. I'm like, it's not worth it. Is
nah,
that how you see it too? Like sometimes, like just some things you just don't
I
find it
just
worth it
don't
enough to get to
care.
dedicate. Yeah.
It's not even like, oh, it's not worth it. Like I literally just don't care. It's like I just saw dust go past my eyes or something. Like I
It's
don't
like
care.
it's like someone on the block just looking at you going, yo, what's good? Blah blah. I'm like, yo, I'm
Yeah,
just
I don't
gonna
really
go get
care.
water.
I just had this discussion with my cousin, and we were talking. He's like, well, what if someone said this to you? I'm like, I don't care. Like as long as it's not with, like my girl or like my little brother or
Yeah, or
my
like my
my
mom.
mother. But it's like outside of some stuff like that, I'm not gonna why react to that? And I feel like you're being proactive by conditioning your mind to not give a fuck about that.
Hmm.
So,
And
you
it,
know.
it also just leads you to a life of less stress because like sometimes before again, an example will be one time I was in the train, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy accidentally hit this girl's with his stick, and I was like, yo, at that moment, like usually I'm like, it's whatever. But he hit her and he didn't say anything. I was like, sir, like you just hit her, like you're just gonna let
Yeah.
that go. What's good? And he started, he was like, oh, do you know who I am? Blah blah blah. I have a 3 bedroom apartment. In my head, I'm like, so what? Wait, is that what you measure your life by? My 3 bedroom apartment? Oh my
Yeah.
god. Anyways, this dude had a stick, and I'm like, you can barely walk. Like if this is a fight, it's not gonna be fair. I'll just hit your stick and you're done.
Well,
I'll
that
just
three
hit your
bedroom
stick.
apartment ain't gonna save you from this ass
Yeah.
whooping.
But like in my head, I'm like, okay, we just came from class and I was headed back to the city. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you have things you're working on. You have a college degree. You told yourself you're never gonna get in like problems with the law. You're gonna be that one black guy, not one, but like you're never gonna be incarcerated. I don't want to run into this problem. So I thought ahead. I'm like, it's either I stay here and fight this dude over something that's that small. Like at that moment, I made sure she was safe. She got out of that situation, and he just started screaming like the entire train.
Oh,
And he
you
took it
but
on after I left. He took it on other people, and people left that cart too. So instead of just standing there to deal with his BS, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Move to the next cart. And then when I was there, another dude joined me, and he was like, yo, he started literally just yelling at me next, or like he started yelling at the next girl. I was like, okay, so he's mentally just gone. But had I been reactive, I was like, oh hell no, nigga, let's get it popping. Then like then nothing good will come out of it. You
no.
feel me?
Well, what's all right? So what's one of the situations y'all been in where being reactive really like fucked you over?
I think I will let Stalin take this. if you're willing to share, give us the intricate details of your
Divulge.
lavish lifestyle.
Yeah,
Divulge.
I want to use my right of Fifth Amendment.
I plead the fifth. For
Somebody-
fairness, I said I plead the
Stalin,
fifth.
who watching this podcast? We got
Nah, honestly, I'd say the biggest reactives are probably with just like my relationships with like people. I feel like I was always reacting with like different people and like friends and like family.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think it was like also like just about like how long it took me to like do what I really wanted to do, because I was always reacting to what other people were telling me and like, you know, like my fears and my doubts. And I feel like, yeah, it was like really bad. Like it never really like allowed me to really learn how to communicate well, which I'm trying now, or like be very mature. And I feel like that kind of like hurt me. And it took me a while to like, you know, realize that I was wrong in my ways and that I had a lot of growing to do, which I'm glad I realized. But, you know, I feel like, you know, I forgave myself for the past, but I feel like I could have been, if I would have realized a little sooner, it would have been better. And so like relationships would have been better and I wouldn't have to be fixing them now. But, you know, all in due time, and everyone has their path.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the biggest problems for me with being reactive was like, one, doing what I really want, and just like relationships with people.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like, to what you were saying, and I've been talking about this too, like I really had to think about some of the things that I'm happy about, even I guess during this lockdown. So it's like, okay, you know, sometimes we feel like, all right, I could have done this. Or like, you know, we get stuck on this shoulda, woulda, coulda type thinking.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, all right, cool. Whatever's done is done. But like, even now I'm like, okay, all right, maybe I was like, all right, I'm gonna start this during quarantine. I'm gonna do this. And like in reality,
work out with Hassan and put him in so much pain that he could barely sit without thinking about pain.
But hey, look, you're gonna be in good shape though, right?
Well, I'm sexy as fuck.
But nah, like, you know, so it's like sitting there thinking like, okay, I've done this. Even I'll just say on a personal level, like, okay, I got a lot of reading done, got some self-development done, worked on my relationship,
Boom.
started the podcast.
Boom.
Yeah, and then really kind of reworked what I was thinking about for my own brand. So because before it's like, all right, I had this idea and I was stuck on that, but I'm like, all right, you're never gonna start it if you're stuck on this one way of thinking. So I literally just like scrapped everything and start from square one, which is fine. Yeah. Because I still got mad time, and if I don't, then whatever, I'll just be dead. So it is what it is.
Wow. Very optimistic there from Mr. Patrick.
Nah, I mean, look, how I see it, like, I'm cool with that, because if, you know, if you're doing what you want to do and you feel like you're progressing towards something, then I'm okay with, like, you know.
Enjoy.
What about you?
The right,
Mr. Not so tough.
I'm fragile, man. No, I'm not fragile. I'm just, I don't know. I'm a
you should have took that stick out that man's hand. No.
Nah. Again, no. Like, look at what do I look like fighting somebody?
Proactive.
Proactive? I'm gonna proactively beat your ass. But no, I actually, back to that. I think everyone needs to take some form of self-defense class, if just in case. I'm not saying take it to go around just beating people's ass every freaking where, but like some form of Krav Maga or like jujitsu or boxing, even just so you know, when it comes down to it and someone is literally disrespecting someone that's so valuable to your life, you could say something to it, or you could say, look, bro, I'm warning you,
most people
I'm gonna beat your mother.
Most people not gonna do nothing. Most people just run their mouth.
Just talk. Yeah, no.
They might yell and like puff their chest out.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, like, you could tell who really gonna do something.
Yeah, no.
And some people, they'll try to get you on the slide, but you know.
Yeah, if someone's really gonna do something, it's less talking and more action. It's less reaction and more proaction. See what I did there? But
but what about you? What's something that's like a reactive thing that's held you back?
Also, I think you've heard the story a billion times, but as a child, I was very reactive to my surrounding, and growing up in Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
like we had this high. Again, it was a super conservative like mindset that we had that school was everything. But this was back in the late '90s and early
Okay.
2000s. So as a child, what I saw was that you know, bank managers, white collar jobs, doctors, lawyers, all these like professions were being respected. So whenever the question will come, which I felt like was really dumb to ask a child, that will come up, that what do you want to be? I look around and I'm like, the most respectful thing I see that everyone loves is a doctor. So I'm gonna
Right.
be a doctor. And then like 20 years later, people still want to hold you to that standard. I was like four, my guy, like, but that
Yeah.
was me being reactive to my surroundings and seeing what people would like. I remember even lying to my French teacher in I think fourth grade that my dad was a bank manager just to flex. Like,
Let's do
I did that. I remember that. I would never forget it. And I know exactly why I did that, because I wanted to earn his respect in a sense. So for him to see me as like a rich kid. But in hindsight, I was in a private school. Like, that's implied, I guess. I'm rich, but no. So that was me being reactive. Proaction actually came to me post college, when I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna take control of like this narrative. I genuinely love the fashion industry. I genuinely love dressing people up. I genuinely want to learn about designers. I genuinely love the art that comes along with it. So I'm gonna explore it. That was me. I think that was one of the first few times I was really proactive in my decision, and that's led to where I'm at today. Like finally moved out. Like got my own stuff. I'm working on like my brand. Been in and out of the fashion industry. Been in and out of shows. Just accumulating all those experiences
mm-hmm.
and getting that for myself. If I was never proactive in saying nursing school could wait, I want to explore this, I probably wouldn't know half the things I know about the
Right.
fashion industry that I do now. And again, back in college, it's like you already know what you have to be proactive about, because I even as a like human bio major, I'll fail a test and tell my friends I should just drop and go to FIT or like go to a fashion school, because inherently I knew that's what I liked, but I
Right.
never took any action towards that until after college. And if I had done that earlier, I probably would be at a different level in like my career. But now it's good. Now I'm still like I'm very
Oh
content. I'm
yeah.
still working towards something, but being proactive in making that decision was something that I genuinely think changed my life and got me to where I'm at right now, and it only goes up from here, and also just helps me, um, you know, help other people. Like I told you, that's one big thing of mine. Like this opportunity wasn't afforded to me in like my high school, college careers. Like no one told me about fashion internships. I had to find all these things for myself. So I want to use that knowledge to help, other kids growing up in the same neighborhoods or in the same situation I was in, to maneuver this and let them know that look, you could do this. There's a job in this. There's something called a buyer. There's something called a retailer. There's wholesale. There's manufacturers. There's designs. There's creative
Mm-hmm.
directors. All these things that like we're not privy to growing up. I want to be able to be proactive in getting like the opportunity to the neighborhoods that it's not afforded to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing I was proactive about. I'm super like happy that I made that decision in my life, and I'm still being proactive about this brand. Shameless plug. Look at that ring. Look how sexy it is.
Get your hand out the.
Oh, fine.
No, I
But
mean.
Stalin is like, get that shit out of here. Move that.
You know,
It flies out my hand like, ah.
Go out the frame
it
and
lands
shit.
on my finger.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you. Or remind me, actually, I need to get both of y'all some rings,
The
man.
Infinity Stone.
The infinite.
All of them. I need to get both of y'all some rings for real.
All right. Well, let me know.
Full price though. F out of here. Imagine,
Nah, that's fine.
imagine I'm like care package, but there's a bill in there. You know what I'm saying?
No, no, no. We gonna
Keep
pay
the
for 'em.
sticker. Keep the sticker, but send that invoice back.
Nah, just let me know. I told you I come want a different
Yeah.
kind one.
It will make you a sterling silver one.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yo, mine better be 24 carats gold. You heard?
Oh shit.
24 karat what? Huh?
He meant gold plated.
Yeah. Gold plated is what you get. 24 karat chrome. It's
the plug,
aluminum.
right?
I am the
plug.
no,
He the
I'll get
plug.
you that, bro. Like, come on, from the Gold Coast. Come on, go to Tmsi. I'm a Nigerian prince, man. Just give me your money.
Just give me your money.
Just give me your money. I have some land. We could work. Cam your ass real quick.
Look, so I guess for me, like, reactive lifestyle doesn't really work because you find yourself stuck in the same cycle all the time. So I feel like a lot of people, they wonder, like, why do I have the same issues no matter where I go? And I think it's because you're always reacting to what's happening to you or everything that's in your surroundings. So people are like, oh, I moved, but yeah, I still have the same issues. Or I have a new group of friends, but I
Why you
still have
trying
the
to
same
throw
issues.
shots, man? I'm still gonna move to LA, bro.
No, you haven't moved already. I'm saying, like,
nah,
you know,
I'm messing with you.
when people will like try to escape something, it's like,
Yeah,
but it's like you still carry the same issues.
you haven't addressed the issues.
And I think that's one thing about being proactive. I think for myself, I've been reactive to, all right, I need to, do this, have this job, do this or that. And it's like, well, you gotta peel it back and like look again, like what we're trying to do now, all three of us together, and then even as individuals, work on things that will allow us to have that freedom to think off of that track, like off of the little hamster wheel of life.
Oh yeah.
I think my biggest reactive things have been, I guess, not really, again, for me, I guess not addressing what's there. So, even when I was in college, like, I guess like around the first year or so, like got into a relationship and then was just doing things that would fit into a relationship type of thing. And it's like, all right, I don't really want this. I'm missing the opportunity to make connections, to network with people, to do this, to do that.
Because you're trying to be,
like appease
proactive,
somebody else. And it's like, all right, what did that even do? You know what I mean? It didn't do anything for me. If anything, it just added more stress. And, I was even thinking about that this morning and kind of to Stalin's point, well, damn, what if I did this? Or I should have done this, or I could have, or what if I would have done this? And it's like, like, bro, like at the end of the day, you have to, and I think forgiving yourself for like past, I don't know if you want to call it transgressions, like, it will allow you to move on and become more proactive. So even now, like, even in my relationship now, like, with E, I'm like, all right, I try to be proactive. Like if we're doing like different things, like trying to communicate on different levels instead of waiting for some sort of like build up to happen where it just explodes. So, I don't believe you can be reactive. I mean, some stuff you'll have to react to in the moment. Like if, the ceiling just collapsed, like I'm not going to just sit here. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to move.
Oh,
but, you know what I mean?
Like everything is fine. Do you know that meme of that little dog just sitting where everything is burning?
Yeah.
Everything is fine.
So, I think I don't want people, if any of the viewers are listening, like, oh, you have to react to some stuff. Yeah, but I think as you're being proactive, you're training your mind for a better reaction for when things actually happen.
Yeah.
So
being proactive doesn't eliminate the reactiveness of like,
but you'll have better reactions.
Yeah.
Like you said, like if you're taking a boxing class or a self-defense class, when someone goes to throw a punch, instead of possibly getting hit in the face, you might be able to block it. That's all we're saying.
Sounds like, yo, I'm ready. What's up?
So that was so quick. I didn't even see it.
But beyond even just that, even if you're more of a reactive person, you're being proactive in a lot of other things. You just don't know it yet, or you just don't know. You're not allocated that energy to the right places. So like a lot of us are proactive in the wrong things. Like you're really proactive when it comes to procrastinating and watching Netflix all day. most of us
Yeah.
are. We're proactive and like, going out and having fun, knowing damn well you have a bunch of like stuff you have
Hmm.
to complete. Your, so that the fact that you're being reactive doesn't eliminate the proactiveness you have in your
You
life.
just
You
have to
just
transfer the
allocate it, yeah,
energy.
and reshuffle a few things. There's things you definitely have to react to, like Kanye signing with Gap. I have very strong opinions on that, but we'll continue.
Well, okay. So how do y'all, since
We're
y'all
about to
have
react.
this motherfucker, uh, once you have identified that, like, all right, so everybody has been reactive, and also I feel like at us as creators, being creative, having that creative mindset, when you're reactive to stuff, it doesn't allow you to actually, make something of true value.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why, both you and I, like, we love the fashion industry, but everybody is, a lot of people in the industry are very reactive, and that's why everything starts to look the same, feel the same. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bunch of, it's just a blob. Like, there's nothing that's like super original. Not to say nothing, but I guess the brands that people aspire to have, inspire to buy, it's all very reactive. They react to one another and just copy one another instead of just saying,
Mm,
you know what, let me just, you know, I have this idea I've been working on. I'm gonna just throw it out there, see
yeah.
what happens. So I think, if you're trying to be creative, it's not good to react to everything around you, because you end up just creating things that you've already seen before, even knowingly or unknowingly.
Yeah. And it's great that you mentioned that as well. Because you in fashion we're like very active. And yesterday I got some crazy news that Sebastian Munier
Mm-hmm.
from Andy Millimeter, he's the creative director from there, had quit. Because he didn't quit, he left the company because the NGG, the New Guards Group, just acquired Andy Millimeter.
Right.
I think it's the New Guards Group and another company, I'm forgetting their name, acquired Andy Millimeter. And again, with fashion, I know Sebastian Munier is like very creative. He's a designer. He comes up with his stories. He comes up with his concepts and he makes them, and that's what adds to the brand's legacy. But whenever you get a new CEO, they're more like reactive, if anything, or they're proactive in just
Oh
money.
yeah.
And you as a creative director, you're just like you're very like you're the artist in every sense of the word. So when they come in, and I know when New Guards Group come in, all they're worried about is Lemula. So they'll probably put someone there that would like be more in line with them, just making a bunch of money and like probably lower quality clothes. Because I don't think Sebastian would have allowed for that to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
like an artist will have strong like viewpoints because they're proactive in their work. They believe in it. He believes in it. So the fact that he's leaving and like a legacy brand like Andy Minimister is gonna go down the line and possibly start making some form of, I don't even want to say streetwear, because they never made streetwear, but like there's some form of like elegance to it, and like that form of like touch. And now that he's gone, everyone is looking to it to see who's gonna come in. But I think the message should be like CEOs are not creative directors, and they don't understand. And like getting rid of like people like that, it's causing a huge reaction in like the fashion industry. But that's all it is. No one is proactive in calling like the New Guards Group out, or saying, no, this is not fair. This dude has been here for 10 years and the brand has been doing exceptionally well, and his
Yeah.
designs not well with that. Everyone's like, well, good job, blah blah blah. And it wasn't him that's just fired. People lost their job. Like his whole design team was eradicated.
Well, I mean, that's that's kind of like the world, definitely the country we live in. But styling, like for film and stuff, like how do you see, you know, I don't think, I mean, the two of us aren't close to as knowledgeable as yourself,
Yeah.
but I guess I could see it like when movies come out, you could see people casting the same person for all their films. And but how do you, being a creative more so in that lane, like what do you feel like, what's so bad about people being reactive there?
Um, that's a good question. I feel like a reactive thing is like seeing something and then trying to copy it. Same thing as
Right.
in fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But it just becomes outdated really quickly. So it's
Yeah.
always trying to like getting inspired, but it's like getting inspired by something but not copying it, or else like you're not gonna like really be original or like stick out. And to your point about like someone always casting the same person,
If
I
I see The
understand that.
Rock in one more movie,
I mean, like that's just like that thing is just like it's just good for business.
Put
Like it's probably
Batista
not even
there.
it's not even the director, it's probably like the production house because they're
true.
trying to make money. Like if you know if you see like big names, they'll be like, yeah, we're investing like $100 million. Like they need to recoup that. Like they're trying to make 300 million, and if you have like The Rock, of course, like you know he's gonna sell that.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not the director's fault. But then there are other directors that always cast the same actors and actresses, not because like they're not open to others, but they just work so well. It's
Oh, yeah.
because like sometimes like an actor will do really great in a movie, but then he'll suck in another, and it's because like he doesn't have like the direction of like the other director. You know, it's like Christopher Nolan almost always works with the same actors, but all his movies are fire. And all the actors are like fire because they work well together. But I feel like in film, in order to be proactive, it's like you constantly have to keep learning. Not only just like new story forms and like developing new projects and like new scripts and like you know always like learning, but also learning new technology like networking. You know, just doing a whole bunch of things, like just constantly creating. That's like the most creative thing, and
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
like trying to build something original, like seeing something that inspires you but not copying that, because I've seen shots that
Yeah.
I'm like, god damn, like I love that shot and I'm gonna try and recreate it, but I'm not gonna copy it because
Yeah.
people won't know and
Exactly.
it won't
You
feel
put your own
authentic.
spin to it. Someone has to see it and say, this reminds me of Stalin, or this is Stalin style. And I think I'm the same way with fashion. Fashion is it's very inspirational. Everybody takes inspiration from usually kind of like the same sources, the same archives. There's even this thing I think Patrick remembers where you could even, I forgot what it's called. God damn it, I'm blanking on the name, but
What?
when you go to like vintage garments and look at them, or like old garments for inspiration, or they have this name for it. Like Off White did it with a bunch of old vintage garments. They'll look at it, they'll look at how it was made, and they'll kind of take few aspects of it and incorporate it into their kind of like designs. um
It's
yeah,
all right if you don't remember, bro.
is it
I
sampling?
mean, look,
No,
the
it's not.
I think the point here is that we all have pretty much access to the history of things, whatever, different designers, different filmmakers, different whoever it might be, but we can all pull different things away from that, or just seek inspiration that has almost nothing to do with your industry. And you see that happen a lot, but then people will copy that. But it's like,
Oh
but
yeah,
at least you could say, all right, I started
I
this. I
was
was
I
just
did this.
thinking this morning about damn, like like this wireless charging. I don't know if y'all remember, like this had to be like at least 12 years ago or something like that. What was it called? Power Pad. It was like the first like wireless charging thing I had ever seen. And I was
Was
wondering
it
like,
big,
no, it looked pretty
compact?
slim and stuff. Not like today, but I'm like, damn, like I wonder if they sold that technology to Apple, Google,
Or
whoever's
maybe they
creating
didn't
this.
license it. Probably.
Maybe not, but I'm like, they were proactive in their thinking, because now you see that everybody else is just reacting like, oh, someone put out wireless charging. We have to make our phones thinner, and we're gonna compromise the design, and they're gonna
Let's
be more
put five
fragile. And
freaking.
yeah, like it's
Let's put 5 cameras in the back.
my thing
iPhone
is,
20.
yeah, like it stop being so it. Again,
Predictable.
it watered down everything, even with the environment. Everybody.
A comment on that, it's
Go ahead.
actually a business tactic, because in order to come up with a new product, you need to invest in R&D and engineering. And sometimes when a company looks at the investment,
Mm-hmm.
whether to invest in like that department and develop their own feature or acquire one, it's usually always cheaper to acquire another company because then the technology is already there.
Oh yeah.
That's why that's why when Apple bought Beats, eventually they came up with the AirPods, because Beats had already so much technology related to wireless wireless headphones.
Technology. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I
Yeah, so I
think
just
that
want
the
to put that
Beats
out. It's a
deal
little
like
little
squandered.
econ lesson.
All
Yeah,
right,
no, I mean, no
flexing.
doubt. I mean, I think that's why you see, to your point, Stein, like Apple acquiring, like, didn't they acquire, like, City Map, or like all these things, like, because like you
Yeah.
said, it's already there. You don't really have to do too much. Of course, you have to, like, further develop it, but if you have everything there that they worked on already, it's not as hard to build it ground floor. But it's just, I don't know, it's a little crazy, like how everything just works on this cycle.
Well, I was trying to find out some more information on the Apple Beats deal. I think there's some form of assumption that's going on with that deal.
Okay.
I
Now,
mean, Apple owns it.
still owns it because I heard
Yeah.
otherwise. I
Yeah,
didn't really look into it, but I
yeah.
heard
There's
otherwise.
no way they're giving that up. But they invested like 2.3 billion, I think,
Yeah.
Hmm.
to acquire it.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
So I
And
mean,
never,
what are you
never
gonna
mind,
say?
3 billion, 3 billion.
Uh,
Oh, okay. Whew,
wow,
what
much
a
better.
relief.
Because yeah, some of that money went in my pocket, isn't it?
Nah, some of your money went in their pocket.
Oh, I never bought a Beats freaking. I mean, I bought the AirPods. God damn it.
Nah, so when we're being reactive, like, what have y'all done to kind of like push yourself to being more proactive? Like, how
All
were you
right,
like, I gotta pull myself out of this?
all right. You guys are gonna hear me say this a lot. I'm not talking to like you two already know, but the viewers, I'm gonna talk a lot about introspection and looking into yourself because that's honestly step number one. Like in order
Because
to
that's my
like
bag.
be proactive, like you really need to see, all right, if you don't like an action or like you need to be aware of your actions and reactions. Like you need to understand, okay, I'm reacting to this in a bad way. Next
Mhm.
step, why? And then once you figure that out, slowly changing into something that can be proactive. And I feel like that was me for a long time. It's like, why was I unhappy? Why am I reacting this way? And it just like you do a lot of introspection. And a lot of this introspection comes from like meditating and journaling, and just like starting to really, really recognize like your interior self and who you are, you know? And from that, it's like, once you realize that, you realize you have some things to work on and you're working on that. And then like developing your values and principles. And once you develop that, it's easy to see what kind of lifestyle you want to live, and then
Right.
working towards that, because then you're going to really be proactive. Because if you're like, I value this, and then these are my principles, it's easier for you to say no to certain things and not react a certain way, and to be proactive that way. So it's like me, I value family. That's one of my top values. So what am I going to do to be proactive? Once a week, even if it's once a week, I'll make sure like, or even once a day, I'll make sure I'm devoted like at least an hour of playtime with my nephew, my mother
Shout
and
out to
I.
Aiden.
Yeah, if my mother and I get into like an argument, I make sure to like never like not react anymore. I always try to be there. My
Hmm.
sister
Right.
too, and it's just being proactive like that. Like another of my values is like filmmaking. What am I gonna do to be proactive this week? Just like designating that.
What
It's like I'm
actions am I
gonna
gonna take
I'm gonna shoot something. I'm gonna edit it. I'm
with a
gonna like.
camera?
I mean, yeah. How else would you shoot it? I mean, I'm gonna like shoot something. I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna like even if it's not like a project that was commissioned and I'm not getting paid, like just shooting something for my own, developing something, reading a book on screenplay, like, and if it aligns with my values, I'm definitely gonna do it, because if you're doing things that aren't really aligning with your values, it's easy to just be like, all right, I'm not gonna be proactive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
True.
like I say, like when like, you guys are talking like at school, like when people are not doing what they want, it's easy for them to not be proactive. It's like, all
Yeah,
right, like,
it's easy to be lazy with it.
I'd rather like just let it happen and go with the flow.
Yeah. I feel like this is a way a lot of people live their life. So
Just go with the damn flow. But no, I agree with everything Stalin said. It depends on who you are as a person and finding things that make you tick. Uh, with the meditation aspect as well. Like sometimes you meditate and you find out that like, okay, I feel this specific way even after meditating. Why am I feeling this way? Okay, it's this, it's probably this. Or let's say you're in a situation where an example would probably be oh, you always hit up this friend to hang out, but this friend never hits you up, or like you always check up on that person, and like you have to like take a step back and say, why am I the only one that's kind of like reaching out all the time? That's like, I'm being proactive, but it's not being reciprocated, and like this person is just being reactive to me taking action.
Hmm.
What is that? What's the dynamic here? Is would the person hit me up if I stop hitting them up? And most likely it's not, and you realize that, okay, this is a one-sided relationship, and it's not like, at all healthy to you, because it's taking like all this energy and time from you that could be devoted to another relationship or another friendship, that like, you probably have someone that will be willing to like, uh spend a lot of time with you, or like hit you up and
Right.
say, hey, let's go do this, let's go. And that way it could be not necessarily equal, because I don't think things could be that equal, but if there's reciprocity, then it's worth it. So that's one example of like, um I'd give in respect to that. Just knowing who you are as a person, valuing having your set of values, and making sure nothing goes against it. And with these values, you're very proactive in like living according to those values. And if anything is kind of like coming against it, you could be proactive in like, reacting to that. That's my way of seeing it. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Deep, bro. Come on, I just dropped
Uh-huh.
some gems, man.
Proactive to the
Mm-mm.
reaction of the action of the
When the action
pre-action
came
of
back,
your
you took the
post-action.
activity and then put it in the chemical reaction, and the matter's energy, and then gravity puts everything together. Come on, man. What y'all know about that?
I can actually explain better once. First of all, now let me clarify. No.
I know more than the.
I know more than y'all. I have read more, and let me tell you, there's nothing like a chemical. We're like, sir, we're talking about actual reactions here. Well, when you put argon and potassium together, what does it make? I don't know.
So
I feel
what?
chemistry, so.
I was waiting. I was waiting for
Yeah.
the lifeline.
Damn, none of y'all. I bet. We're done with chemistry on this podcast.
Yeah, nah, I'm good.
The periodic table. Well, you know what's crazy? Actually, I want to do this. I've memorized the first 20 elements in the periodic table in middle school, and I think I could still like recite them in like 30 seconds. You
All
wanna
right,
go?
Papoose.
Papu. Let the beat go. Somebody start beatboxing. I got this right now. All right. Yeah. See.
Woo!
We got hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium. Come on. Where do you get this content from? Yeah, y'all thought that human bio degree was for nothing. Nah, this what came from it.
All right, so when the subway open back up, we going on there. So,
ladies and gentlemen, pardon the interruption.
I got my man's Quazon here.
Quazon, but Quazon.
Nah, you sound like an alien.
Featuring our boy Neutrino.
Neutrino.
No,
the chemical rapper.
The chemical rack.
It's the Chemical Brothers.
H2O, get it?
Are we done?
Yeah. All right. Well,
I'm so sorry.
It was
you
great
guys get
seeing
to see this
everybody.
side of me, man.
No, I
This is
think
unfiltered.
I think a way to really like when you're pulling yourself out of there, I always use chess as a way to define, how you should move
Nerd.
through life.
Nerd.
No, but it's like, when you're playing chess, you can't be reactive. You have to be proactive. So planning out your moves and like always like keeping certain things in your head. So I know how this person is going to react. So I'm not going to be like surprised by it. For me, like I never put anything past anybody. So when people are like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. I'm like, I'm not surprised if anybody says anything, So I think one way to pull yourself out of that is just by starting to I guess kind of like rethink your thinking. That makes sense. So, you know, we can't always look through everything through the same lens. When you choose to look through life just through your own worldview over and over again, you're gonna see the same thing. So I believe that when you're trying to become proactive, again, you have to reanalyze your thinking, say, okay, this is not, why did this not work for me? And you always have to put yourself in that mix too. To Stalin's point, look at yourself. You know, a lot of the times, a lot of the problems in our life are because of us. Like it's not really due to some sort of outside cause or anything like that. Like if you walk outside and a bird shits on your head, like, all right, cool. What can you do about that? If you walk
Kill that
outside and
bird. I'm kidding.
oh damn, all right, fry it up.
Yeah, Hassan, you'll be
Dinner
canceled
today.
by animal rights groups.
Dude, come on, man. It's just food.
But you know, if you're not willing to put yourself in that mix, I don't think you'll ever be able to be proactive. Of course, if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, I guess you could be in some ways, but you have to first like reanalyze your thinking, like break down your thought process, and you might have to trash the whole thing, which is fine. But a lot of us don't want to give up, to our earlier point, that, you know, that feeling of being in the right, like you know better. When it's like you really might not, like you might be dead wrong.
Always don't know. Yeah.
So, but
and that's also why people are very, very strong in their convictions too, because they're very active in that. Like some people would be dead wrong, but to them and their viewpoint, it's the most right thing ever, and you can never change your mind because that's what they've chosen to live their life by. That's one of the values they live in their life by. You know.
Well, a lot of us, we speak to be right anyway. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's like two people can be right, you know. Let's say if you're looking like at a picture and someone sees like this is from the 7 Habits, and it's like if someone sees an old lady, another one sees a young woman, they're both right. Is it logically correct? No. Psychologically, it's correct though, because we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are, you know. And going back to like both of your points, it's like, yeah, like people need to like really realize that like the way we are now is because we've been domesticated, not only by our parents and like our culture, but also by like society, you know, and like what's the norm there, and then just like really looking into that. And you know, and that's where like, you know, I'd rather work as a filmmaker and try to like start a business now, because it's like people were like, the structure that we've been taught is like the 9 to 5 structure, but it's not the only way, you know. And it's like it's kind of outdated, and it's like that's where you gotta like really rethink. And it's like it's gonna be scary at first, because then you're gonna be like, holy shit, like that's like this is the only way, it's not right, and perhaps I have been wrong my whole life, but it's okay. That's the first step. Like just accept it, and then just like create your own paradigms and like your own way of thinking, you know. Don't be a robot, you know. You don't be like, we're all programmed in a certain way, but we can go against that programming and create our own program. You know, maybe you'll take some things out of that programming that are good for you, you know. Like,
that's what I was gonna add to that. Like sometimes some people are totally comfortable with a 9 to 5 and they're happy with that, and that's perfectly fine. You could also but like if you have enough time and one of your values is spending time with your family after 5, you get to do that, you know. So just finding different ways to just add happiness and sort of things that make you happy in your life.
And that's a good point. Like anybody that's watching, we are not telling you to
quit your job. I will take it.
Go. You know, we're not saying
your
that.
ass leaves, I'm in there.
But again, to your point, like, all right, if you're cool with the 9 to 5 structure, and you're like, this is for me, like I'm cool with this, but all right, maybe you're not proactive in other aspects in your life. Maybe it's working out. Maybe it's, we've been speaking about family. Maybe it's family time. Maybe it's cooking. Maybe it's, I don't know. Like it could be literally anything under the damn sun. Exactly. So how is a proactive lifestyle how has that benefited y'all? Like what impacts do you see? Like what is so, you know, life
Uh,
changing?
it's led me to
Why do
meet
you
a lot
feel
of
better?
people.
Tell
I
us how
mean, I
you
wouldn't.
feel.
Okay, relax. I probably wouldn't have met you if I wasn't like, proactive and again exploring the fashion industry. So it's led me to make a lot more connections and relationship with people. It led me to finding out things I never knew existed, you know, and being proactive even affects creativity as well. Sometimes when I'm going out with the sole purpose of finding inspiration, you find it in places you never thought you could. Sometimes I look at the sink and I'm like, that's it. Like I'm looking at the sink and I'm like, that's it. I've done that. Like sometimes I'm walking with you and
Oh
I'll just
yeah.
randomly stop and take a picture of something because
No,
again,
for sure.
in the back of my mind, inspiration comes from a lot of different places. But I've already made my. It's kind of like implicit at this point that I'm proactive in just finding inspiration anywhere. If I see something that catches my eye that I could kind of use in telling my story, I don't let it tell this tell the story. It just fits into the narrative for me. Then I'll
Hmm.
use it. So again, like I told you during this quarantine, not going outside a lot has like impacted creativity, but it's also led me to be proactive in working on a business plan and other things as well.
Yeah.
You know, so
Like
yeah,
it doesn't have to be a one track mindset because at the end of the day, like when you're trying to create something, it's still gonna be there. You know,
yeah,
when I like some people like I have to do this. Like certain things like yeah, you want to get it done now. Like, all right, cool. Like I need to do this right away. I need to do that and that. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
But those are you know what I'm saying, sometimes it's like, you know, Stalin has referenced that book. So you have to figure out what's urgent, what's important. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, I have to pick up the
I
phone. I
no, you
have to,
don't.
you know what I'm saying? Like certain people, like, yeah, like, oh shit, like they were just in the hospital. Like I should probably pick it up, like to see if they're
They're
alive or
okay.
not. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to
Oh
jump
no,
over you.
no, but no, no. That's the gist of it. It's just it makes you just live a life that's like super straightforward based on your values.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it doesn't. You don't deviate as much. Like me, when it comes to time to pray, I'm leaving the floor regardless
Yeah,
to go pray, and that's one of the values I'll never deviate from.
exactly.
And you also have certain values you won't deviate from. So it just keeps you on the path. And as you're progressing, you find that you're more proactive in other things that require that sort of importance. So if we're going back to work, being proactive will mean revisiting a bunch of stuff that from your job that you've probably forgotten due to quarantine,
Mm-hmm.
and other aspects like that. It bleeds into, it becomes part of a character, and you just can't help that then to use it as a precedence to attach importance to other aspects of your life that
Right.
would need it at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that affect you in your
Samuel, what about you, buddy?
Samuel, we're talking to you.
Who?
Stalin, you. It
Yeah,
makes
I
me
know.
talk. It's like who? Who?
Who? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, being proactive has like really helped me advance my goals. And I don't know, in 1 year, well, a year and a half, I've accomplished so much when it comes to like
Shuts that
filmmaking.
Forbes article. I'm sorry.
What article?
Oh.
No, we humble here. We humble here. But I don't know. Yeah, just like made me achieve my goals. It's made me more, giving me more courage. Like
Mhm.
I'm afraid to be more proactive. I'm not afraid to be proactive and take risks now. It's just like I'll do something. Something doesn't work out. I'm like, all right. It's brought me more peace, uh, like in my mind, but also like my soul. I feel like I'm not overthinking as much. I'm just like doing, and yeah, I don't know. It's led me to meet a lot of great people, and it's just like kept me pushing and just doing. And it's like, I can still be more proactive, but it's like I am better than I was last year, and I was better than I was like 2 months ago and a month ago, which I'm
Right.
happy about. And it's like I just got to keep pushing, being proactive, and just I don't know. It's just like really changed my mindset on things and how I view life, which I think is a beautiful thing, and it's just made me happier. And I feel like that's the goal, and I'm staying true to my values and my principles.
That's what's up, man.
Perfectly said. Well said, man. So eloquent with your words.
I mean, for me, I believe being proactive is always going to be the best way to go. When you're proactive, you're prepared. Like I said, there might not be something concrete that you can just say, all right, I can see it, touch it. Like, this is why I'm being proactive. Like, it could just be something that you haven't, I guess, conceived yet. But if you're being proactive, when that arrives, you'll probably be ready for it. You won't have to react in a certain way. You'll kind of feel and you'll know how to react. That will guide you. So it's just kind of like, if you're an athlete and you're training, like there's no guarantee like you're going to make it to the championship. But if you've been disciplined, if you've been training the right way, if you've been doing this, you're doing that, like more likely than not, you're going to get close to it or probably get the opportunity to be there. And if you do get there, you'll know, how I have to maintain like my training in order to be victorious on that end. So even for me, like, I think for myself, like I've been doing a lot more of improvement on me versus like other things.
And hurting other people you work out with.
This month. You don't man up. Nah, but well, proactive. Next time you'll be like, all right, I know what to expect.
Yeah, and then you keep pushing every single time. God damn it.
Nah, but I guess for me it's just been more about improving myself, like improving how I'm speaking to folks, trying to what is it, like be more emotional, I guess.
Compassionate, empathetic.
Yeah, that stuff.
Oh, that's damn. Yeah, whatever those things mean.
Yeah, like or just connecting with people, because I'm someone where like I don't really like, I'll do it, but like I guess I haven't been like that great at it. So like just going more so out my way to like tell people like, oh, congratulations, or oh, like this is great, or oh, this and the third. Like I think I'm always like very respectable of people and I believe in people, but just going more out of my way to like do those things and like make those connections. So I had to figure out like, well, what is it in me that's holding me back? And I think it's just literally just thinking like doom. Like I'm very like on a mission.
Regimented. Yeah.
And that's something I feel like I put myself in that box once I started college to a certain extent, where I'm like, all right, now it's time for me to like switch up, do this and that. And you'll be prepared and it just feels better. We spoke about having that freedom, being able to breathe. When you're proactive, pardon me.
You guys ever saw the Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah.
He's like freedom.
Yeah, that's how some of these people are leaving the house now.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't go out before anyway. Like it's just,
dude, I told you, those Italian restaurants are making bank, bro. They're making so much money, man.
They about to come back out.
Yeah.
Or that Alfredo about to be ordered.
Oh my God. Just like what you're eating, that's a line. People are looking at you like, hurry up. Like move on. We're trying to sit out there and eat too.
Yeah. But you feel free because you already have pretty much kind of prepared for a moment. You don't feel like all tight and tense, and you kind of know what to expect. You know what I mean? It's like you've studied everything. You feel good. I'm not saying everybody's just gonna be this expert, know everything. Like it's impossible, but you'll feel better. You'll know like kind of what to expect. So if Hassan, like if you were about to go style someone and you already asked around about this person, you looked at kind of like what their styles like, this and that, there might be a little a couple bumps in the road, but that process should go smooth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if Stalin was gonna make a film and he was like, all right, whatever, let's just say Hassan is the actor, like, all right, I know this, like I've done my research on him, I feel like a lot of people, and I think we spoke about this on a separate podcast, but how, you know, when you aren't in that state of comfort and you're always reactive, you kind of feel like you know more than you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it goes, I can't remember who said this. And I feel like I said this before too. So I'm
I
sorry.
said
Now I was listening to this Jada Kiss freestyle, and I remember he said, what did he say? He said, you can know so much yet but know nothing. And it's like there's so many people that feel so knowledgeable and so, you know, empowered and this, that, and third. And I feel like that's why a lot of people will react. Because again, if you're in that state of comfort, if you're in a good job, like the guy you said on the train, like, I'm this, I'm that, like, because he's probably been enabled to do so, you know, to my, if I could imagine so. But once you really accept that you don't really know much of anything, only what you know in this one lane in this whole industry, then you feel very small in that. So you want to be proactive and learn more, you know, expand your knowledge. Expand your worldview, you know, make yourself. Yeah. I think being proactive, starting to be proactive is, you know, becoming uncomfortable. So put yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
So
I actually like discomfort. I used to hate it. Sometimes when, like, you know, something is super uncomfortable for you. Let's say, like the push-ups thing. Like sometimes I wake up and I'm like, God damn it, I have to do 100 push-ups today. In my head, I'm like, right now it's uncomfortable, but as soon as you're done with it, it feels great. You know, so a lot of good things come with taking risks and that uncomfortable feeling. There's this group on YouTube that's literally just based on that. Stalin, I think you know them. The yes theory or whatever they're called. They say yes to almost every single thing, no matter how uncomfortable it is. And one of the
All right,
models
I don't agree with that.
no, I said almost, not necessarily. They won't say yes to killing somebody, obviously, but like what I was trying to say was that the motto is seek discomfort, because in that discomfort comes a lot of values that you can apply to your life. Comes a lot of opportunities that
only through discomfort will you like get stronger, you know, and evolve.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly,
it's
you
just
just gotta
go to the
like
gym.
Yeah.
After pain comes success.
And remember that the true definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results. You know?
Bars, man. We don't even have the thing, but I hope you guys can hear this.
Oh, it's 7 o'clock.
If we had the soundboard, I'll probably be pressing it like.
Yeah, man, and it's like you can't expect to get to like another level if you're doing the same things, because
same old things,
not at all.
Yeah, you need to change yourself, and it's like after you get to that level, if you want to get to the next level, it's like you got to change even that and be more proactive, you know.
More proactive and like finding things.
This is why I push you so hard. Anybody that's gonna work out with me, this is why I push y'all hard.
Stalin, you see exactly what I mean when you work out this cycle over there.
I'm actually trying to work out with Patrick. Like I need to get back on it. I know Patrick. Just know that I'm a like probably like, you know, puke the first time because it's been a while.
It's okay, man.
It's fun. I just like to exaggerate, like, make him seem like you're looking.
Get your ass up.
You're like, oh! My back, my legs, my throat hurts. No, but sometimes like you reach that point and you think you're done, but there's like 2 more reps you could squeeze out of it.
Just need me there to make sure you get them done. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever heard about like that 40% rule. It's like when your body thinks it's done, you're actually only like 40% done. It's just like your mind like blocking it. But like if you push back, because it's like the human body is like so goddamn like extraordinary that you can like push yourself to the limit. So even when you're tired, it's like it's all in your mind is done, but your body isn't.
That's why I say like you can train until like your body is like numb and like you can't feel anything.
See, that's his goal. That's what he's trying to reach. Like numbness when your cells have all like lost.
That's how I've trained like that a lot of times, like where you work out really hard and it's like you can't feel your arms or anything, but you have to like finish the workout. So that's only like halfway through it. So you get to that peak. And
I'm gonna go design some jewelry.
You see us next year after training with Patrick, like no neck. We're like can't even move. We're like
Both of y'all playing in EPL.
EPL at 30.
That'd be crazy.
Like, no, I think it could be done though if you train like almost every single day, like really, really hard, like beyond Cristiano Ronaldo level. You can make it.
Yeah.
It's who?
Nah, I
the thing
don't.
is,
Cristiano
maintaining it
Ronaldo, that
beyond
man's a
that.
beast.
Dude, yeah,
Right.
like the dude doesn't. I heard he doesn't even have like cheat days at all,
Yeah,
like throughout the whole year,
yeah.
and it's reflective in his like. This dude jumps higher than an NBA player, and he's a soccer player. Like his
Well,
vertical
his
is
legs probably
higher.
mad strong.
Hell yeah, bro.
There was
This
this
man
one-
is like more lean than like actual like models. But his work ethic is like like he doesn't.
yeah.
He works out every day, like, and even at his age, like, because it's like soccer
30
players.
something.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for cutting off Hassan, but this was like crazy. It's like he's 30 something, and like before you go into like play again, like you need to do like a physical, and he like literally like broke like last year like his own record and stuff. Like he was like at peak performance even during quarantine. Like this man just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
No excuses ever.
Yeah,
But
and that's
he being
his difference.
proactive. He's being
Yeah,
proactive.
because he knows what matters to him. That's the difference between him and Messi, though. Messi is just naturally talented. Ronaldo will work for that.
Oh, I don't know.
yeah. I'm just
he's
happy
like-
happy to see two goats play.
True.
Exactly.
Ronaldo all day, though.
Whoa.
You sound like a cartoon character.
All right. Well, anything to add?
Guys, just do things you love, man, and just be proactive and telling your loved ones how you feel about them. If you're having problems with
If you
your-
don't
with
love
your
them, be
family.
proactive. Find a nice
No.
island, disappear in the middle of the night, and
Don't be Russell Simmons.
to hell with them. No.
Don't be
All
Russell
right,
Simmons.
we out of here.
No. Again, family. I want people to value family. Family is really important, and like, I know sometimes family can be a bit too much. You just have to find the right.
But look,
balance.
a more important key too is that not all family is family. So even if they related to you, I mean, it could be like a friend that turns into like family, so to speak. You know what I mean? So it don't always gotta be family, because some family ain't shit. Like, we'll be honest here. Like, for real. Like,
Damn, they going for
come
their
on.
head.
Y'all know you got some
I
ain't shit
understand,
people in your family that
for real.
exactly.
Sure. But again, for me, empathy and compassion defeats all. If someone is being an idiot, you could just be compassionate to them and just just be kind. You don't have to say anything.
Yeah, but you definitely don't gotta like interact with them.
Give them your all. Don't be too proactive with
It's
those,
just a,
'cause you have
hey,
to
how you
put all
doing?
your energies. Yeah.
That's
Hey,
it.
how
Keep
you
it
doing, buddy?
moving.
From but no, just that. Just spread love. Spread like
Give them that smile.
Yeah. Oh no, not the white people smile when you're walking on the block. Have you guys ever got that smile? I'm like, ew, Buster Patrick. Like sometimes they see like, I'm like, you didn't even have to smile because just went about your day. Like, now I have to do that awkward ass like smile back. Like,
give me the ice grill. Hey, nah, I'm good.
But no, after that too, just make sure you're proactive and hitting that damn like button, subscribing,
Comment, subscribe.
And, check us out on IG.
Follow us on IG for the
IG
more
is
exclusive
Hassan
content.
GHQ. What's your IG, Patrick?
Pat _
Just
Steele.
Pat _ Steele. We have. What's your IG, Stalin?
At Stalin Lives, no E in Lives, so it's STALINLIVS.
Okay.
What was it again?
Stalin Lives.
You can rewind.
Yeah, they can rewind. Mine is Hassan GHQ, and as usual, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is always fun. We love it when you guys watch. We love getting feedback from you guys. DM us some topics you want us to cover.
Oh yeah, guys,
to hear
before we go, I want to tell the audience, if you guys have any topics at all that you want us to talk about, or have a question,
do not
leave it
send
in the
them
comment.
to us because we don't care. No.
Leave it in the comments. We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Any feedback? Has this helped you in any way? Any other topics you want us to tackle or you're interested in? if we don't have the most knowledge in it, I'll try to do some research. But
Yeah,
I'll always
or
try to
like we'll
come in
bring
here.
someone in that's very knowledgeable on it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we'll try to
Yeah.
address the topic, do some research, and
Yeah.
if I feel like I'm not knowledgeable enough, I'll admit it. So you gotta
Exactly.
you can't know anything. You can't know everything. I mean,
Yeah. And if you love this, tell a friend and tell a friend. If you enjoy these podcasts we make and you're watching them, just it'd be nice to just, slide the link to a friend of yours. Tell them about the podcast. We're trying to hit
Subscribe.
100
It's free.
subscribers. It's free. We're giving you free content. The only thing we want from you guys is just your love and support. So thank you so much for even watching this to start with. Talking to you, whoever's watching it right now.
yeah, I'm talking to you.
You sitting there. And also
You will be proactive.
But I mean,
you would reach.
we recording right now, so.
I know, but I'm seeing them.
In the future.
On their phone, like we could see through the camera. Imagine.
Oh, so you the FBI agent?
I just do my cover. No.
On that note,
You see an empty chair and just swinging.
Imagine like the FBI agent just like joins by accident. He's like, oh,
Like,
oh.
I'm like, I see you. No. Come back, Steve.
Lose one subscriber.
Oh, that was him the whole time. Oh,
Hell
God.
no.
Well, no, for real, thank you guys so much. Again, it's your boy Hassan, Mr. Not So Light Skin. We have.
Who you pointing
it's
at?
your boy Stanley Vichuska, director and cinematographer, and
Featured on Forbes, nigga.
well, actually, just a human being that wants to help you guys.
Oh my
So,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just Pat.
Patty cakes. Patty cakes. And on that note, love, we're out.
Peace.
See you guys.